Okay, let's do this. We're live. Hello. What's up, guys and gals and NBs? Let me post on the social medias. What's going on? How's everybody doing? Can send some chicken nuggets. I'm down with that. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, Steven. I went to a birthday party last night, actually. Well, it wasn't a birthday party. It was just sort of like 5 people hanging out and playing games. But it was for somebody's birthday. But I'm a little bit exhausted from that because we were up pretty late trying to figure out how to play this game. It's this card game called Boss Monsters. Have you ever heard of this game? It's actually really cool, but it's like really complicated to learn. Like once you get the hang of it, it's easy, but it takes a while to actually get the hang of it. So we were like playing like all night trying to figure out how to play this game. Oh, Trinity, what's up? That's my sister. Whew. But yeah, I'm a little tired. Stayed up late. When are we gonna do the challenge? I guess we can do it next time I come over there, or next time y'all come over here. I wanna I don't know if I've said before that I'm probably gonna try some not different things on my channel, but some things that are different from what I've been normally doing. So we can put that on there. Am I doing super chat questions? Well, I mean, what does that mean? Anybody can ask a question, even people who don't super chat. But super chats are appreciated, and they'll always get read. They won't get skipped. Oh, he didn't. No, he didn't tell me about the spelling bee. What happened? Did you win? Any videos that you're working on? Yeah. I've got well, I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do next, but like I started writing another video about Donald Trump, but it's like, do I really want to talk about this dude more? It just makes me sad. 4th place, not bad. Gary Thorne, thank you for the $10 super chat. What are your thoughts on the government shutdown? You think Democrats should stop holding the budget hostage for an unrelated bill, or did Republicans ask for too much and broke negotiations? Well, I don't know. Like, it's really hard to even comment on Congress, because I just feel like Congress is dysfunctional altogether, both parties, and it's it's just sort of like a circus. Like there's no attempt to do things that are like practical and effective and actually help. It's just like a battle. They just try to win regardless of whether winning is useful. But it's interesting that the Republicans control all the branches of the government, but still are unable to keep the keep the government from shutting down. I think that I don't know. I can't. It's hard to even really say, because like there's almost nothing that the Republicans want that I agree with, but also I don't want the government to be shut down, because that's bad for a lot of people, like a lot of people. Including people I know. Like I know people personally that have to go to work and not get paid when the government is shut down. Did I get two $10 super chats? I only see one question. Or did it just pop up twice? So it's like, in general, I want the Democrats to win, because their policy is more in line with what I'd like. But if them winning causes, or if they have to literally shut the government down in order to do that, then I don't know if that's worth it. I think it may have just like bugged out, and it shows too, because there's only one actual super chat that popped up. Yeah, I did see that John Oliver episode, or I saw that clip at least. Donald Trump. Did you hear that someone destroyed Donald Trump's star? Do you mean on the Hollywood Walk of Fame star? I think people like constantly deface his Hollywood star. It's basically Ron Swanson, except not endearing. Yeah. Ron Swanson is an interesting character, because like you said, Ron Swanson is endearing, but the show clearly is making fun of libertarians with that character. Like I don't think it's supposed to be. I think you're supposed to think that his ideas are stupid, but he makes up for it by being a good person. Is my lighting messed up? Baby pics. Yeah, I need to see those. I got a couple of old pictures. I always get a little uncomfortable when there are characters, like fictional characters, that you're not necessarily supposed to identify with, but people do anyway. Am I hyped for Black Panther? Absolutely. You guys don't understand how long I've been waiting for a Black Panther movie. Like, it's kind of like I don't read comics that much anymore, but I grew up reading comics all the time, and it's kind of sort of validating to see all of these, I would say, like underrated characters become like get their movies and shows and stuff. Because, you know, back in the day, everybody talked about Spider-Man, X-Men, and all that stuff. But I was like, yo, Black Panther though is dope. Y'all sleeping on Black Panther. Or I'd be like, yo, what about Daredevil? Nobody talks about Daredevil. Or like Luke Cage is dope. Like characters like that. Nobody used to talk about those characters back in the day, but now they're getting their time in the sun, which is dope. Do I have a Switch or like Nintendo? I like Nintendo, but I don't have a Switch yet, but I will get it eventually. I always end up getting all of the Nintendo consoles eventually, usually like 3 or 4 years after they come out. But yeah, pretty much if they release a Smash Brothers a game on it, then I'll probably get it immediately. Do I ever go on r/the Donald? No. Why would I ever do that? That just seems depressing. Sometimes I wonder if they wanted to make a Republican character but thought Libertarian would be more likable. Well, I think it's just funnier. I think that's probably why they went with it, just because it's more funny. I know some people think we are more than our own political identities, but sometimes I don't agree. If you're okay with backing candidates that are repulsive, I might be questioning you a little bit. I don't know. People are complex. If everyone deleted Twitter, would Trump lose his power and like shrivel up? We definitely wouldn't lose his power. But I mean, Twitter's just one platform that he's utilized a lot. I'm sure he would find another way to get his ideas out there. Super Mario Odyssey is amazing. I played a little bit of it at a friend's house. It's really good. It sort of like brought me back to my childhood. It was so fun. Like I don't know. Like I play like all of the Mario games are good, but it's something about Mario Odyssey. It's just like really fun. Parks and Rec is one of my all-time favorite shows, by the way. So I'm, I could talk about it all day long. Well, I mean, if you count stuff like Mario is Missing or something, or like Hotel Mario, yeah, those games are bad. Have I seen Master of None? I've seen most of the first season, and that's it. I don't think any of the major first party Mario games are bad. I think they're all pretty good. A lot of people voted for Donald because they found Hillary more repulsive, not because they agreed with him. I think this really shows the problem with our two-party system. Yeah, well, I mean, the two-party system is bad for various reasons, but it's also sort of an inevitability because people want their votes to count, so people are always going to vote strategically. So it's pretty much always going to be two parties unless we change, completely change how our voting works. Have a Super Nintendo. What do you think of the Nintendo Labo? I don't know. I honestly have not looked that much into it. I've seen like some ads for it, but I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I mean we've got more than two parties in America, but only two of them really matter. Politics is weird. And I think the way that politics in a lot of countries works is unfortunate because it kind of relies on people being uneducated and irrational. Oh yeah. There are some people in Congress who are not Democrats or Republicans, but I don't think that um I don't think any of them represent any third party if I'm not mistaken. There are other officials from other parties. Like for example, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat or a Republican. Gotta go fast. By comparison, most of the Sonic games are bad. I don't know about most of them, but a good bit of them, maybe like half of them. I'm still all about that original Sonic trilogy on Sega Genesis. I think politics is always going to be bad as long as people are so easily distracted. Do you ever doubt your own political views? I'm very liberal, but sometimes I wonder if I'm actually bleeding heart snowflake and not looking at things logically. Well, I think you should always question your beliefs. Like, that's a good thing to do. You should never just unquestionably have ideas and never consider alternatives. So that's a good thing you should do. And I think if you do that to a sufficient degree, then you can decide whether or not you're looking at things logically. Like, if you don't have a reason for your beliefs, then there's a good sign that you're probably not being logical. That's a lot of times how you can tell, you know, if you're having a debate with someone, if you really break down their beliefs, a lot of times you can get to a point where it's just like, I just feel like it's right. I just feel like it's true. I can't really explain it. I just feel like it. And that's where you run into troubles. So, what, a smart 4? Also, Sonic 2 on Sega Genesis has one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I actually wanted to, because I don't know if you heard about the whole Logan Paul stuff, Trinity, because I know that you like, I've seen you watching Logan Paul before, and I think it might be interesting to do a video about that and see what you think about it. But it might be interesting to get like a kid's perspective. Sonic 06. It's crazy that that game ended up so bad. Like, how do you release a game that bad in this day and age? I don't know. There's a level, like, you can't really tell people unless you just physically like remove them from the computer. It's hard to keep up with what people are watching. But I know when I was a kid and my mom and stuff told me not to do stuff, that just made me want to do it more. So I think it's better to just have conversations about things, and at least have people, at least get them to understand what's going on, and then hopefully hope that they make a good choice. I think the shithole countries comment, it kind of like, to me, because the thing, I actually think I'm going to do a video, not about that specifically, but just about Trump and how he sucks. But the thing that Trump is really good at is he's good at saying things that are like obviously offensive and obviously like just bigoted and shitty, but he keeps it just vague enough to where he can always deny any wrongdoing, and he can just accuse you of misinterpreting what he said, or he can just outright deny that he said it, which apparently he likes to do now, even though it's like on record half the time. Oh, hi, Dad. But to me, this one was like, just in case y'all weren't sure if I was racist or not, let me just make it clear. I feel like that's what was going on here. Because it's like, I mean, it's still pretty vague. He can still deny that. He can still say you're misrepresenting him. But this one's pretty clear cut. It's like, why do we need all these people from the countries where there are brown people? Why don't we get the people from the countries where there are white people? Like, it seems pretty clear cut. So that's what's interesting about the comment to me. Do you think interracial relationships still gets head turning in the South? Yeah. Depending on where you go, for sure. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it turns heads in most places. Maybe not like certain, I don't know, certain cities that are like super progressive or whatever, but people are weird about that in general. It's probably less of a problem for younger people. It's just really, I think it's really just obvious, just based on what he said. He could have said a different country than Norway. He could have said like Brazil. He could have said, um, but he specifically picked like, well, one of the whitest countries in the fucking world. And a country that really has no incentive to immigrate people. Like, I mean, or at least a primary reason that people immigrate is because they want a chance at a better life. Norway is chilling. They don't need to come here. In fact, Norway is a place that I'm planning to research because I think I've talked about this a lot on stream, but I think there's a strong chance that once I become like financially stable, that I'm consider moving to a different country. And Norway is one of the places that I actually want to research. Oh, what's up, JMB? Yeah, Canada seems cool, but it's too cold in Canada. But I may have to make a sacrifice. Like I want to move somewhere that has good weather because I feel like if you have an opportunity to move somewhere that has good weather, you might as well do it. But there's not that many places that have good weather, but also is a cool country to live in. So maybe I have to compromise. Yeah, I've talked about it a lot on stream actually about wanting to move to different countries. Yeah, Italy in terms of like good weather and developed country. There's like Italy and Greece and stuff like that. With the interracial thing though, it just depends on where you go. Cuz I've been on dates with a lot of white girls and just in my scene no one really cares. But depending on where you go, like in other places, in other places, in other scenes in the same city, it's a little bit weird. Would you want to learn Norwegian? It seems hard. I don't know. Sure. I don't know anything about Norwegian, but learning another language, I've always been interested in trying to do that, but I'm never stuck with it. I've been trying to learn Spanish my whole life, and I've just never stuck with it enough. But that's one of my goals is to learn at least one more language, if not multiple. There's there's a one of the many YouTube communities is the polyglot community, which is basically people that can speak a lot of languages. And I'm like really into it. Like I watch their videos and stuff. All right, Daniel, thanks for coming to the stream. Yeah, immersion is pretty much the best way to learn any language. But I'm bad at that. I think that's why I haven't been able to learn a language because the way that I learn stuff the best personally is through sort of like a course. Like I like having guidelines. I like being told, okay, do this and then do this and then do this. And then once you do all those things, then you'll get what you want. But learning a language that way is really inefficient. Hello, Lily. Yeah, it's pretty fortunate that English is kind of like the language of the world almost. But English is like probably one of the least, it's one of the ugliest sounding languages to me. I've heard that in some other countries English sounds cool. Like I've heard like in Japan they think English sounds really cool. But yeah, that's the thing too. I've heard that uh other people when you go to other countries they just want to talk English to you. Just Sadaya, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thanks for the stream. Have a good one. Thank you. You have a good one as well. But yeah, like one of my friends went to China, like spent like a month in China, and she was trying to learn like Mandarin, but everybody once they saw like this American, they just wanted to talk English to her because they wanted to practice their English. Have I seen the new Devilman show? I have not. Yeah, and I had another friend who went to Germany, like spent a winter in Germany, and he said most of the young people just spoke English. But I mean, you can practice immersion if you just find a couple of people. Like you can get online, get on Skype and find some people to talk with you. And I really have no excuse because half of my family speaks Spanish. So I have people that I could be talking to, but I just never stick with it. But maybe just because I speak English, that's why it doesn't sound that cool to me. I think certain dialects and accents sound cool. But overall, it just seems like a very like harsh, not harsh, but like there's no cool sounds in English. We don't get to do anything cool with our mouths and tongues. Other languages have a bunch of cool stuff you do, like rolling your R's and glottal stops and all that stuff. The th sound, I guess that's pretty cool. The thing is, like a lot of the sounds that English has, that other languages don't have, aren't cool. But I'd like to learn a language. I mean, Spanish is my first. Like I, I'd probably know more Spanish than the average person just because I've spent my whole life trying to learn it. But I don't speak it fluently. I don't feel confident in conversation still, which is sad. But Spanish is the number one language that I want to learn. And then there are some other ones that I'm really into. Like I want to learn Korean, and I'd like to learn German. Spanish isn't that bad. It's just kind of a lot of memorization of rules. I guess every language is like that. And it's just like vocabulary, really. French would be cool to learn, but I want to learn Spanish first. French it just sounds cool. English has it has 6 letters that are vowels, but it has a bunch of vowel sounds. I think that's what was meant by that. Like each of the vowels can be pronounced in like 4 different ways. Like in Spanish, there's like legit what 4, 5 vowels total. Like only 5 vowel sounds, like period, in the whole language. A, E, I, O, U. I think that's it, right? That's all of them. But in Spanish, I mean, in English, it's like a, a, e, I, and so on and so on. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another problem when you learn a language through a course is they usually teach you a pretty formal way to speak. And I've talked to some people, when people learn Spanish like in school or something, and then they go to a Spanish country, the people are like, you sound like a newscaster. Like, why are you talking like that? You know what would be useful in English? A plural you. Well, I live in the South, so we say y'all. Y'all is a very good word. Oh yeah, someone commented on the super chats. The super chats have really been helping out lately, actually, because as you probably understand, everything's getting demonetized now. But the super chats go to your AdSense just like normal ads do, so it kind of like it doesn't make up for all the videos being demonetized, but it definitely helps a lot. So I appreciate the super chats for sure. Yeah, I need to watch more movies and stuff in Spanish. What I used to do is I would watch shows I like, but I would put it in the other language on the DVD. Like I have like Seinfeld box set, and I would just watch Seinfeld in Spanish. They say use in Liverpool. Some places, some people say use guys. Thought on the possibility and value of YouTubers forming a union. That just seems impossible to do. Because there's just too many different types of YouTubers, and they all have different needs, and it's I don't know, it just doesn't seem reasonable. I wonder if honestly, if I watched more like Spanish media, that could probably like supplement, because I already have a good baseline of knowledge, so that could probably supplement a lot of it, and I could probably learn a lot just from that. If they could form a union, would you join it? I don't know. I just have to look it over. I don't. I mean, it's an interesting idea. Like I'm not sure. Like you guys may be familiar with the Internet Creators Guild, which was started by Hank Green and some other people, and it's still like in its infancy, and it may be able to do something soon, but I like the idea of there being some kind of advocacy for creators, but I don't know if forming a legit labor union is even possible, or if it were possible, I don't know if it would be useful. The ICG podcast is amazing. And in terms of right now, at least as far as I can see, the ICG is just like a information resource, and it's kind of an underwhelming information resource. But maybe, but maybe as it keeps going and keeps building, they'll be able to do more. I was also trying to find like if you guys know any Spanish YouTubers that have English subtitles on their videos, definitely let me know, because I wanted to watch some stuff like that. I used to watch, there was a Spanish version of Equals 3, which is, if you don't know what Equals 3 is, it used to be like the most popular show on YouTube. It was on Ray William Johnson's channel. It's just like it was basically like Tosh.0 before Tosh.0, but they made a Spanish version of it. And the Spanish version was actually better than the original. Like, it was funnier, but it had English subtitles, which was really good. So I wanted to try to find more videos like that. I think Hola Soy Herman put subtitles on his videos. Yep, Equals 3. Old school. Back in the day when Ray William Johnson was the king of YouTube. I got sort of I got a kind of like it was kind of a rude awakening almost, because they're like taking a lot of channels off of the partner program now, making it so you can't monetize your videos if you have under 1,000 subscribers, you can't monetize your videos, but also if you don't get a certain amount of watch time in a year period, then you can't get monetization. And so the Wine Cone, who is a super OG YouTuber, but he's, he was like one of the first YouTubers that got like really popular, but he's sort of become less active recently. But he just tweeted recently that he was one of the first people to be put on the YouTube partner program, and now he's about to be taken off. So it was kind of a bit of irony there. Does not compute from Cracked. I remember that. I listened to Radio Ambulante. It's a pretty good NPR Spanish podcast. Cool. Did I talk about the Aziz Ansari thing yet? Well, we talked about it a little bit last week, but I don't know. It's kind of a difficult thing to talk about because I think it's pretty. There's so many factors to really consider about it. But what I choose to highlight, there's a lot of things to talk about, but what I choose to highlight about it is the fact that we just got to get better at, like, it seems to me that it seems unlikely that someone was that uncomfortable and didn't show it in any way. Like, I don't know how you could be that uncomfortable and not appear uncomfortable. Like, It just doesn't seem likely. So if that's the case, then that means that Aziz just did a really poor job of making sure that making sure that he considered the feelings and well-being of another person and paid attention to, what they were doing and how they were feeling. And we just got to be better about that. So that's what I choose to highlight. There's other things to say about it, but that's what I would like people to take away from it. Yeah, 4,000 hours of watch time a month, which if you're an active YouTuber, that's really easy to get. Not a month, a year, actually. Yeah, 4,000 hours a month that's a lot. But for a year, that's pretty easy to get. If you're just remotely active and have a decent following. Like, for example, I think I have about 2,000 hours in the past month, which is not even a lot, but so 4,000 a year is not that much. And I kind of get that, but the problem is it just makes it even harder for small creators. But it's kind of taking it back to the days where it was sort of prestigious to be a YouTube partner. It's sort of like this hump that you had to cross over. And I kind of like that because it sort of encourages people to actually try and actually like decide if they actually love making YouTube videos. All right, Debo, thank you for coming to the stream. Question is he a creep or just really tone deaf to social cues? Well, who knows? I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially someone like Aziz Ansari, who's been very vocal and has been an important voice in support of women's issues. So I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt that wasn't all bullshit. And I like to speak practically. Like, I think a lot of times we want to act as if, human beings are incapable of, or I don't know. I feel like we think about things sort of in a vacuum and not realistically about how human beings are. But I've had experiences like that, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be horny and not think straight. I don't know if they were drinking. My theory is that he was drunk, and I know what it's like to be drunk and do inappropriate shit because you're drunk. So, and I'm not saying that excuses it, because it doesn't excuse it, but I'm just saying in certain mindsets, people who are decent can do shitty stuff, and it's still shitty, and they still should be held responsible. I'm just saying it's possible and probably likely that he's just not some creepy villain. He's probably just a dude that is just as socialized as any other dude and does shitty things in the wrong situations. And we just have to all be better, and we have to work on that as a culture. How's the ranked season going in League of Legends? I played a few games. I've only played about maybe 20 games or so far. I got placed in Bronze 2. And I'm not that worried about Bronze. Bronze is pretty easy, but the Silver grind is what I'm working on. But I'm pretty confident. Are they even given anything because of this change? If they promise to get like humans to review flag videos, it at least seems reasonable. I don't know. I'm hoping that because the major reason that they're doing this is because they want to prevent people who just sort of just create a channel on a whim just to put up some like, you know, terrorism video or something. Like they're trying to prevent people from making money. Like they only want people who are serious YouTubers to make money from YouTube, which I think is reasonable. So, but I hope that now as a result, they'll stop auto flagging everybody who's already been making YouTube videos. Because look, literally, this is not an exaggeration. Literally every video I upload gets flagged for demonetization. And sometimes when I request a review, it overturns. In fact, most of the time they overturn it, but they always get immediately flagged. I guess nonverbal cues do matter, but I think it's also important to say if you're not into something. Like I think the fact that he stopped when she said no. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things to say about it. Like I don't, you know, I think there's things that I'm just less eager to talk about just because I don't feel it's necessarily my place to tell women what to do and how to live their life. I definitely think you should be assertive. Like if you don't want to give someone a blowjob, you shouldn't do it. Like I think it's not that hard to not give someone a blowjob. But at the same time, there's more, you know, it's complex. Like this doesn't seem like a situation. Like a lot of times these things happen because women are afraid of potential backlash because that happens. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like this was that kind of situation. So I don't know. But what I do feel confident and eager to talk about is what men can do and how men can be better, because I've been in these situations before. Can you remember the first ever YouTube channel you subscribed to? I have no idea. I think one of the first, I remember maybe the first YouTube channel that I became really into, like a fan of, it was Bohem. I don't know if any of you guys know Bohem. And it's kind of funny because it's not a channel that I would watch right now. I think he still makes videos every now and then, but he's just sort of like this guy who made like these rants about the world, basically. And I'm actually not into that kind of stuff anymore. Like I'm into more like uplifting and positive and educational type stuff. But that's what I was into. I don't think it's about preventing those channels from existing. It's not the fact that they are getting money, it's the fact that the ads are running on their channel. So it doesn't even matter if the person actually gets paid. But if Toyota sees that they have their ad on a terrorism recruitment video, even if it only has 20 views, they're going to be really mad about that. So I think that's what they're trying to avoid. Yeah, like you said, they don't want to be associated with the content. I mean, sexual submissiveness can be a survival instinct, and that, you know, I wasn't there. I don't know the vibe. I mean, maybe she was legit fearful, but just because it's a thing, you know, an instinct doesn't mean that it's the correct way to be. I don't think it's the correct way to be. But like I said, I'm less eager to talk about that side of it. I think a lot of women have spoken up about that, and I think many of them have made compelling arguments. I also used to be really into the wine cone, who I mentioned earlier. I got really into the wine cone. I used to watch a lot of Kev Jumba. You guys remember Kev Jumba? I watched a lot of Happy Slip. And then I got into the Vlogbrothers, and the Vlogbrothers like changed my life basically. The Vlogbrothers came around a little bit later though. Or I got into them. I think I started watching them in like 2008. But like 2006, 2007, I was watching like Winecone, Kev Jumba. Oh, of course, Natalie Tran Community Channel. That's one of the best channels on YouTube. Community Channel is like an inspiration to me. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but her style has sort of inspired a little bit of my style. Like I always say, like, my videos are basically a combination of things that I just took from other channels. So it's like a combination of Vlogbrothers, Natalie Tran, Anna Akana, Philip DeFranco, pretty much. All right, Proud Anselmo, thank you for coming to the stream. Appreciate it. The cool thing about Natalie Tran is she found this perfect formula for her videos that she has been using since day one, and it's still good. Like she's been making the same style of video for like 10 years, but it still works. Like she's just really funny and good at coming up with ideas. Like her videos literally make me laugh out loud half the time. Have I ever tried to make candy? I have not. That might be fun though. I've been doing a lot of cooking, and I want to do more experimental stuff now. Like I'm planning to make my own hot sauce. Like I'm going to the grocery store in a few days, and I'm gonna try to make my own hot sauce. Would you consider yourself an optimist or a pessimist when it comes to the future of America? I don't know. I think that things get better, but they get better very, very slowly. But you have to be an optimist. If you look at the history of America and compare it to now, like it's definitely better now, okay? But I don't think it's gonna be good anytime soon. But it'll be better, but it won't be good. So if you consider that optimism or pessimism, I guess you decide. For a guy who doesn't smoke weed, you're a high AF right now. I'm just a little groggy because I was hanging out with some friends last night because it was my friend's birthday yesterday, and we were partaking of the libations. But I don't think it's going to be good in America, basically. And this is one of the reasons why I kind of want to leave. I want to go to a different country because it's just like really fucked up. But I have to acknowledge the fact that it's better than it used to be, and it will probably continue to get better. It's just it will do so very slowly. Cynic, what's up, man? I'm not sure what country I want to go to. I'm gonna have to do some research. Maybe I'll go to like Japan or something. That might be interesting. Everyone talks about how how like nice and polite everybody is in Japan, and that sounds perfect to me. I I want to go to a country where everybody's nice. Are you how are you with cleaning horse poop out of stables? You know what? I've never tried to do that. Am I Jamaican? No. That definitely doesn't stop people from yelling Rasta at me when I'm out in the street, though. Rasta. Yeah, I've heard that Japan, they're really bad about interacting with foreigners, but they're polite. I'm at a point where I just can't I just cannot do I hate rude people. Am I close friends with any other people who are active on social media? What do you mean by that? Isn't everybody active on social media? Do you mean like other public figures? I don't know. I didn't used to be like this. Like I used to be very sort of cynical and stoic and like I'm sort of annoyed by positivity almost. Like and I know a lot of people like that. Like people are like, "Why are you so positive? Why are you so happy? The world's terrible. You should be sad." And like people sort of value being an asshole. Like they think it's cool to be an asshole and stuff like that. And they share memes where it's like, "Hi, I'm an asshole. That's funny." But I'm like super not into that at all anymore. Like I'm all about positivity and happiness. And I kind of see people differently than I used to be. Like, people sort of make fun of that whole like positivity vibe, like the sort of hippie vibe, the sort of just love and peace type stuff. But I'm like into that now. Like I think you need to temper that with realism and practicality, but I feel like that's the way to be. Am I going to be a movie star someday? Probably not. I'm not even like into acting. It'd be dope to write a movie though. How big would my afro be if I grew it out? Well, I can't make my hair into an afro right now, but my hair is very long right now. So if it wasn't an afro, it would be super big. My hair is like maybe like 3/4 down the way down my back right now. I feel like Trump made it even more popular to be an asshole. I definitely think that Trump emboldened assholes because there's this whole sort of anti-PC movement where it's like I don't know, people want permission to be an asshole basically, and Trump has sort of given a lot of people permission to be an asshole. But it's not just Trump. I think this is just all a movement, this sort of anti-progressive, anti-PC movement. And Trump is one of the byproducts of that, but there's more to it. Yeah, my hair isn't naturally straight, but I could straighten it out if I wanted to. Well, if it was not dreaded, I could. Cuz I used to do that actually. Or I could like if I like blow dry my hair when in the fro, it would get more straight if I like blow dried and combed it at the same time. But I've even like permed my hair before, but that doesn't give you an afro. That gives you like a fucking, I don't know what you call it. Cat Williams. I Yeah, I've dyed my hair before. I dyed my hair red in high school, or I think it was in college actually. I think I'm gonna put some color in my hair though, like maybe dye a couple of my dreads. I'm surprised. Like I have my Amazon wish list, which is in the description if you guys want to like hook me up with something. But I have some hair dye on my Amazon wish list, and I'm very surprised that nobody bought it for me. I thought that would be the first thing that people bought, just so they could see what would happen. I'm eating Hawaiian barbecue right now. You jelly? That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I think everyone has their own idea what they mean when they say political correctness. But I don't know. Even um I've complained about political correctness before, but I just think the term has been just completely co-opted and overused at this point. And it basically is just like people wanting permission to be an asshole. Do you have a Streamlabs? Yeah, I don't use it though. I when I stream on Twitch, I use what's the other one called? Stream Elements, I think. Yeah. I used to use Streamlabs for Twitch. But that's the thing too. That's part of what I was talking about, where I sort of used to be in that little edge lord idea, where it's like you should be able, like, don't be so PC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, I should be able to say what I want without tiptoeing over everything I say. But it's like, oh no, that's just called being polite. Like, you should do that. Yeah, you should tiptoe around your words because being an asshole is wrong. So you should think about what you say before you say it. It's not unreasonable to ask people to do that. Do I listen to any Death Grips? Not really. Death Grips has been suggested to me a bunch of times actually though. Yeah, virtue. I definitely do not respect. I think there is some element to the idea of political correctness that is legit. Like I do think sometimes people take things too far with that. Like for a good example of that to me was Bam Bossy. Like I thought that was ridiculous, and that wasn't like a legit movement for real. But there was like this one thing where it's like we should stop calling people bossy, or we should stop calling women bossy. I was like, okay, uh, that's dumb, because some people are bossy. Um, but virtue signaling, I feel like that term is just complete nonsense. I think it's bullshit. Um, right. It just means you're asking me not to be a dick. Do I like psychology? I mean, it's interesting. I haven't done that much studying into it, but it's definitely an interesting field. What do I think about Lupe Fiasco? I haven't followed Lupe Fiasco recently, but his first album was amazing, and I listened to it like 1,000 times. But that's the extent of Lupe Fiasco that I know, is that I listened to his first album a lot. Yeah, all of these like buzzwords, they're usually nonsense. Oh yeah, I knew that Lupe was he practiced like sword arts and shit. And I also know that he plays Street Fighter, which is cool. Speaking of fighting games, I'm super stoked for this DBZ game that's about to come out. I'm buying that shit day one. Yeah, even free speech is becoming kind of a buzzword, which is sad because free speech is a really important concept to me. But now, whenever I see people talking about free speech, I automatically become suspicious. Yeah, I will do that. I have a Twitch channel. That's where I usually want to play my games. I may stream on Twitch later today, actually, but I'm gonna be playing League of Legends. Cynic, thank you for the 666. Mark of the Beast. These days, whenever there's some kind of free speech thing, it's almost always, hey, let's protect these horrific ideas. That's usually when someone's talking about free speech, it's always in defense of like something awful. Should people be expected to have an open place to speak controversial opinions? No. Freedom of speech does not imply freedom of platform. It doesn't imply a right to a platform, and I think that's where a lot of people um, get mixed up. You can say whatever you want, but also people don't have to listen to you. They don't have to give you room to say it. Do you have a game system? The newest game system I have right now is a Wii U. I've been mostly a PC gamer, but I think I'm gonna get a PS4, and I'm definitely gonna get a Switch eventually. People who I People I know who decry free speech seem to confuse freedom of speech with consequence free speech. Yeah, exactly. What is your opinion on Marmite? Isn't that food? What is that? I've never had it before. I kind of want to play Tekken. I've never been very good at 3D fighting games. I'm a 2D fighter guy. I like Street Fighter and Marvel and stuff like that. But it might be interesting. It might be fun to play. I don't know if that's the etymology of the term shitlord. That's hilarious if that's true though. Wins Marvel. Yeah, maybe I'll do a video where I try Marmite. Is that how you say it, Marmite? Yo, Tekken 3, that was the jam. I had that on PlayStation. Fucking Eddie Gordo. My best game has always been Smash Brothers. So whenever I talk about the game that I'm good at, it's Smash Brothers. I was actually like one of the best players in my state in Smash Brothers. So that's always been my game. But I want to get good. Like I'm gonna go in on this. I got pretty good at Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I'm gonna play Dragon Ball Fighter Z and see if I can get pretty good at that. Like fighting games I think they're hard to most people, but I sort of pick them up easily. I think just from playing so much of them. So I think I have like an advantage over most players. Do you think the Great Revolution will happen within our lifetime, or will World War III happen before it? I don't think any of those things are going to happen anytime soon, but who knows, dude? I just can't predict anything at this point. Kind of hope Nintendo just keeps trolling fans by not announcing it. We'll see. I don't. It's unlikely that they would do that though. What they usually do is they just generate a massive amount of hype, where they announce it like 2 years before they actually release it. But the Smash Brothers games are they're all so good. From a competitive standpoint, they're not that great. But just in terms of just a game that's fun as fuck, they're all amazing. French guy cooking. Upbeat, positive, and about food. Sounds amazing. Sounds perfect. Would you ever live stream debate another anti-SJW YouTuber? Probably not. I have no interest in live debates. I think they're kind of dumb. What's your opinion on cryptocurrency? I'm actually really into it. It's really exciting and fun. Do you want Oprah to be president? I don't know. I don't know anything about her policy positions or what she would even do as president. I think Oprah is a inspirational person, and she probably has some good ideas, but who knows if she would actually be a good candidate. Yeah, that's the thing about if you want to be good at fighting games or really any competitive games, it just takes a lot of practice and research. You don't necessarily have to know frame data and stuff, but it definitely helps. Why are they dumb? Because it's not about who is more right. It's about who is better at debating. And it's kind of just like a performative aspect to it. It's not like a legit intellectual thing. It's just sort of like a showdown it's just like content. Like it's not like a real intellectual endeavor. It's just content for people's YouTube channel. And it's just ways for people to get super chats. And, it's just a performance. It's not like for real. But even if it wasn't, it's inherently, this is one of the big problems between the left and the right. It's inherently about who's the most persuasive, not who's the most right. And a lot of the positions that people, especially positions that I would have, require a lot of explaining, and I have to like provide data sources. Meanwhile, they can just yell out some sensationalist nonsense and be like, there's only 2 genders. And then it looks like they won because they were more emotional and loud. Meanwhile, the other person has to like Well, it's like actually, if you look at this peer-reviewed scientific sources, you can see that there's a little bit more nuance to it. Like that's not persuasive, you know, and it's an inherently a bad situation. I don't think that YouTube debates are healthy. And for one, most of the people who are doing these debates are not equipped to be doing them in the first place. I think that debates between educated, smart people who are like who are like well informed in their field might be useful, but that almost never applies to YouTube debates. How did you get an above average vocabulary? I feel like I don't have an above average vocabulary. But I don't know. I guess just from engage or like consuming things made by smart people. I'm down for discussions. I have no desire to do debates though. But I'm happy to just have casual discussions with people. Which I've done, you know, I've talked to ContraPoints. I did one with Magdalene Rose. I've talked to Christy Winters. I've talked to Rez Please. But I have no interest in this sort of like tonight at 8 a showdown T1J versus, like I'm not into that at all. It's super dumb. Can you talk to my mom and explain to her why I don't like meatloaf? What's your opinion on reparations for blacks? The thing about reparations is if you really understand how shitty America has done, how shitty America has been to black people, just throughout the history. Like if you really understand just how rough of a go black people have had it since the beginning in America, reparations it's laughable not because it's a bad idea, but because it doesn't even come close to making up for all of that. Well, don't hold your breath on that, Senate, because it's probably not going to happen. I have no desire whatsoever. Do you believe in aliens? Um, I I can't remember who phrased it this way, but someone said I'm an agnostic with regard to extraterrestrial life, or at least intelligent. Like I'm fairly confident that there's life on other planets. But in terms of like intelligent life or advanced life, I'm an agnostic, because it seems very likely that that would be the case. Like, it just seems so ridiculous to assume that this one planet in this like vast infinite reaches of the universe is the only one that there's life. But at the same time, I have no evidence that that's true. So I can't, and I oppose believing things that you don't have evidence for. How do you feel being a quarter of the way through Trump's presidency? I don't know. It's pretty bad, but I think we're going to make it. Well, this is the thing, and that's one of the reasons why I don't do it, because you just rephrase what I said into something I didn't say. And that's one of the reasons why I don't do debates online, because people do stuff like that. How long did it take me to grow up my hair out? About 8 years, 9 years. Do you think the world would be a better place without religion? Yes. Because religion encourages a lot of dangerous mindsets. Believing that you have access to like literally the ultimate truth of the universe is a super, super dangerous idea. Yeah, the Contra's Baltimore video is really good. I don't know. I really like the rape culture video, because that's one video. That's one of the only videos I've ever seen that like legit changed my mind about something. Like, almost, it's like it just like convinced me to believe something that I didn't believe before, which is rare these days because I'm usually pretty confident about my ideas. If you could be immortal, would you be? Hell yeah. I have people, if everybody wants, I always open up, like I get emails all the time where people ask me questions about my beliefs, and I talk to people that disagree with me in private all of the time. I have no interest in a live debate, which is what I said. And that's why it's frustrating when someone's like, "Oh, but you don't want to talk to people you disagree with." Yeah, I didn't say that. And that sort of straw man gets thrown around all the time whenever anyone shows any, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's just like it's a really frustrating thing that you have to deal with, because you can be like, yeah, no, I don't want to have a discussion with someone who thinks that white people are superior than black people. Oh, you're afraid to talk to people you disagree with? No. Or it's like, no, I don't like the performative circus of online debate. It's like, you're just afraid to talk to people you disagree with. No. Do you think leaving Earth would solve many of our problems, or do you think we just end up creating a fragmented solar system with multiple colonies at war with each other? I don't know, man. I don't really know. That's hard to. That's a lot of hypothetical talking right there. But I do think that humans are prone to fuck up stuff. So we'll find a way to ruin it, I'm sure. I don't know if any economic system is perfect, but I think that I just think a more cooperative society that took care of the least fortunate in a more formal, organized way is very important. That's I think that's one of the major, if not the biggest downfall of human society, is how badly how inefficiently we support the least fortunate people in the world. Would you consider yourself a socialist? Absolutely not. I still I still believe in the basic tenets of capitalism. I just think it needs to be reformed. I think social democrat is probably the closest thing to what I believe. I haven't really researched that term specifically, but that's what a lot of people say fits my ideas. Do you do any art? Not really. I want to do more. I used to draw a lot, but I haven't recently. But I was thinking about getting back into drawing and painting and stuff. What ultimately worries me more is looking at our own history and how we dealt with new cultures. If aliens would treat us in much the same way and wipe us all out if they ever discovered us. I don't know. There's so much that goes into that, because I think that one of the reasons that humans are the way they are is because of it's because of the instincts we developed as we grew as a species. So it's hard to say that an alien species would have the same survival instincts that humans do. But I think that's one of the reasons why we're so xenophobic and violent, is because it's part of our it's instinctual to distrust things that are different and things we don't understand. I want to make some more music, actually. I used to make music a long time ago, but like me and my brother, I'm trying to get my brother to like make an album with me. My brother is a producer, and we've made like some hip hop music, and it's pretty good. But I want to make more stuff. Basically, I just want to make more stuff. So whether that's like drawings, music, videos, blogs. I don't I and I think that is the argument of social democrats, is that they're poverty and capitalism does not, you can have capitalism without poverty, basically, is the argument. Have you ever read any of Philip K. Dick's books? No. Oh yeah, I should check out your channel. I remember looking at it like a couple years ago. I'll check it out again. Is there a place where we can listen to that hip hop music? Um, I don't know. I think it might all be private. I have a SoundCloud, but I don't think the videos are private. Or I think the videos are private. But a lot of the songs, I don't know. They're so old, so it's kind of cringy. Some of them are good though. There's a video. I made a song. I made a rap song that's inspired by the video game Portal, and it's on my YouTube channel. You can go listen to that. It's called "Test Me." It's really good, and it uses an interpolation of the ending theme from Portal 2, which is really good. So if you like Portal and you like hip hop, you might like that. But it's really, I think it's a cool song. What's the difference between hip hop and rap? Um, Rap is a style, it's a genre. Well, basically, hip hop is more of a culture, and rap is just a style of music. But rapping is one aspect of hip hop culture. But there, like for example, there are hip hop songs that aren't rap songs, and there are rap songs that aren't hip hop songs. But rapping is I think what people usually say is rap is a thing you do and hip hop is a thing you live. Is something you live. So that's the kind of a basic way to think about it. Well, yeah, I mean there are some songs that are sort of mixtures of R&B. Like R&B and hip hop are two different genres, but there are some that is definitely mixed the two. Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like a lot of Rihanna songs are definitely hip hop songs. Like "Bitch Better Have My Money" is definitely a hip hop song, but it's not a rap song. And you think of something like Kesha, for example. Kesha makes rap songs or has made rap songs that are definitely not hip hop songs. Anarcho Pack. Maybe I'll check that out. R&B stands for rhythm and blues. Do I like cryptocurrencies? Yeah, I'm pretty into it. Someone just asked about that. I'm actually pretty into it. Do I like any non-political YouTubers? Yeah. I most of what I watch on YouTube is non-political. I think so, like people in this community, we sometimes forget that there's more stuff on YouTube other than people arguing about politics. Like I love Jenna Marbles, for example, is one of my favorite YouTubers. Like she's so entertaining and funny. I watch a lot of gaming videos, usually specific to the games that I'm into. If you like fighting games, there's a guy called Maximilian Dude who makes like great videos about fighting games. I like Swoozy. I don't know. I like a lot of people. I watch a lot of stuff. Do you think hip hop and punk rock share enough similarities to make them sister genres? Yeah, I mean, I think you could say at least how in how they started. They both sort of had that sort of DIY, lo-fi beginning, and it was sort of all about ranting against the establishment and things like that. But then they both became mainstream, so that's the great irony. Do I watch Game Grumps? Every now and then. I haven't recently. Yeah, cryptocurrencies are like Bitcoin. Well, I watched PewDiePie. Not recently. I don't know. I think PewDiePie is on this sort of like, he's like slowly becoming a shitlord, I think. And it's kind of sad. I used to actually be a really big fan of PewDiePie. Like once he sort of graduated from the screaming at horror games type stuff, he actually made some like really cool, funny content. But I think he's just bitter now because people keep coming after him. Sometimes I think unjustified, but sometimes very justified. And I think he's just sort of he's being very reactionary about the whole thing. He's just becoming very shit lordy, and it's not my jam. My favorite crypto right now, I'm really into Ethereum. That I know that's a really popular one, but I'm really into it. Well, he doesn't. I don't think he's. He's still a goofy guy, but that's just my speculation, is that he's sort of reacting to all of the shit he's gotten, and he's just, I don't know. Like he just keeps making all these like very sly references that are very like shitlordy, and like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what that JonTron thing. That was something, wasn't it? You listen to A Tribe Called Quest. I love A Tribe Called Quest. One of the greatest groups of all time. And their most recent album was like super fucking good. And he does his thing. I think PewDiePie is he's probably a decent person, but it's just not my jam. What did you think of the heated gaming moment defense? Look, you don't just you don't just yell out the N-word if that's not a thing that you say. And look, I've been, like I said before, like I understand people because I have my own experiences, and I hang out with people, and I know how people are. And that's the thing. Like they do that. Like I've played Call of Duty. These white people fucking scream out the N-word all the time because they think it's funny, or they think it's cool, and they say it so much that it becomes second nature to them. And I feel like you should want to not say the N-word because it pisses people off. So like you should think it's not okay to say the N-word. And no one who thinks it's not okay to say the N-word would do that, regardless of how heated they were. But like I said, I know these people. These people exist, and it is not even surprising to me that he's one of those people. I do get the psychological implication of telling people not to do something, but that doesn't absolve you of your responsibility to be a decent person. If you're an adult, you're still responsible for your own actions, regardless of the psychological implications. Yeah, my guess is that he's probably not racist, but he's definitely a kid that just is an immature kid that never had to grow up and doesn't think before he does shit. Like he probably doesn't even see that many black people in his day-to-day life. Like I don't know. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories? Well, I don't know. My general my general strategy is to disbelieve things for which there's no real evidence, and that usually applies to conspiracy theories, although not always. Do I have a tablet? Nope. I want one though. Who would be your ideal world leader? I don't know, man. That's too hard. I was trying to think of somebody fictional. Mr. Rogers? Woo. And like I said, I'm not mad at people who still watch PewDiePie. Like, I think he's talented and entertaining, but I'm just at a point where it's like I feel like don't say the N-word is like really basic. It's like it's not that much to ask, and it's like I don't have to support people that just can't even reach that basic level of just like being a little bit, you know, I don't know. It's not a lot to ask. Have I ever been in a mosh pit? No, that doesn't sound fun to me. Uh, the best concert I've ever been to was I saw the Roots in college and it was amazing. But I haven't been to that many concerts. It's not really my thing because it, like I would only go if it's just a band or an act that I'm just really 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 into. Because they're usually like expensive and they're usually crowded and it usually like is way too loud. Like it's just not my jam. I know I sound really old right now, but that's just how it is. Yeah. I think eventually you have to come to terms with the fact that there are other people in the world than you. Like even if you disagree or don't understand why someone is mad at something, it's still your responsibility to not be an asshole. Do I ever play background music? No. I guess I could. I can't play copyrighted music though. Have I got Nintendo Switch? No. I want one though. And that, I mean, that's sort of just like we were talking about the whole PC, anti PC movement. People just want permission to be an asshole. And it's just like, I'm not into that. Like, don't be an asshole. It's like, it's not hard. It's not hard to not be an asshole. Well, I don't know. People need to try harder. I don't think there's I don't think it's I'm not interested in making excuses for people being an asshole and just like basic levels of decency. Like I feel like I'm not asking for much. If you could live forever, would you? Probably. I'm not dying doesn't sound that cool to me. Someone had to tell me I was being an asshole. I mean, I think that's the case sometimes, but I think a lot of times it's sort of willing ignorance. A good I think a good measure of whether or not you're being an asshole is if the thing that you're doing is pissing people off. If the thing you're doing is pissing people off and you keep doing it knowing that, you're probably being an asshole. And so, for example, a thing that pisses people off is using the N word. That's a thing that pisses a lot of people off. So it's a good indication that doing that is pretty douchey. And that's the thing. PewDiePie is a unique case. The problem is he keeps fucking up over and over again. So there's a level where it's like you can't just keep doing shit and then apologizing, and then it's, you got to do better. But that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people don't want to not be an asshole, and that's where I disagree. I've always said, if you don't value not being an asshole, you're not my target audience. And a lot of people don't value not being an asshole, and that's just the thing. We have a difference of opinion. Some people think it's cool to be an asshole. Some people think it's important to be an asshole. But I'm just not into that at all. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's virtuous. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's efficient. And that's where I'm coming from. That's what I value. What do you think of that Jordan Peterson guy? Every stream, someone asks me about Jordan Peterson. It's really interesting. I don't know that much about Jordan Peterson. The sense I get from him, which is what I always say, the sense I get from him is that when he's talking about things that are in his field, he's really intelligent and interesting. But he likes to talk about things that are not in his field, like politics. And usually when he does that, he sounds really dumb. That's sort of the sense that I get from him. But I honestly don't know enough about him to really make an informed comment. It's hard for me to buy that basic decency is hard for people. I mean, maybe it is. It's just really hard for me to believe that. Like, I think sometimes we ask too much from people. Like I said, there's times where people go too far, they take it too far. But I think basic decency, like the basic level of trying to be a good person and trying not to piss people off, it's just hard for me to buy that that's hard to do. You just have to care to do it. I think well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that speech can be harmful. I don't think anyone who sort of claims that that's not true is being disingenuous. Like obviously words can hurt. Has someone ever said something that hurt you? Probably. And beyond that, words can have very real consequences. Right, that's what I'm saying. Some people like being a dick, and I understand that that's a thing, but that's just not my jam. And like I said, if that's how you are, then you're not my target audience. We're like disagreeing at level 1. So, there's certain things I try to come up with compelling arguments for my positions, but there's certain things that I think they're just sort of like the groundwork. And if you just don't agree with the basic groundwork, then we're just going to disagree at level 1. And one of those things is you shouldn't be an asshole. Have I ever been to an anime con or will go to one soon? No. I might go to Dragon Con this year. That's sort of just like a general nerd con, but it's not, anime is part of it. I may go to that this year. But I'm not that big into anime, so I probably wouldn't go to a specifically anime con. Actually, I did go to Comic Con, which is a local con here in Birmingham, Alabama. I did go to that actually. And it was actually pretty cool, but I mainly went there to play in a video game tournament, but I also like looked around the convention. Yeah. And I understand. When I say it's having basic decency is not hard, I understand that people aren't just going to change overnight. But what I'm saying, like, if you actually care about it, it's not that hard to start trying, because I had to learn things myself, and there are some things that are complex, but I think the key is trying and caring about it. That's where a lot of people feel like it's if you care and if you try, it comes through. You may not be perfect, but at least you're trying, And that's where a lot of these political conversations come to a halt, because it's like a lot of these people are like, they're basically telling you have to convince me why I should be nice to people or why I should care about other people. It's like, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, you should just already want to do that. At least that's how I feel. Worst movie of the year? I don't know. I haven't even watched that many movies. I just watched, there's this Dan Harmon rant about the movie Now You See Me Too. It's pretty funny. There's a good article. I want to say it's on the Huffington Post, but it's called I think it's called I don't know how to convince you to care about people or something like that. And that I liked it because I feel it so hard. It's like I don't know how to convince you to care about people. Like I just feel like you should already care about people. How do you feel about whipping your children? I strongly oppose that. I've not been in a position, like I don't have children and I'm not anywhere near having children, but that's like a deal breaker for me if I were to get in a relationship with someone. Even though like children is not anything close, like I don't want to end up getting a relationship with someone that is gonna spank my future children. I mean, yeah, there's a level of where doing the right thing pisses people off, but I don't know, that's kind of twisting it because it has a benefit that outweighs, and I think that's probably how some people feel about being an asshole, but I just disagree. I don't know. I just don't agree with it, with spanking children. And I was spanked growing up, and I came out okay, but I don't. That still is not my thing. I mean, it's just. I think even if it was proven to work, I still would be opposed to it because it just seems very barbaric and like just I don't know. It seems gross. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that Bright movie. A lot of people were saying it was bad, but yeah, Will Smith is. I feel like Will Smith can carry stuff. All right, I'm gonna stream for about 20 more minutes or so. It's been about 2 hours. I kind of want to get some lunch. I'm kind of tired. I might take a nap. I gotta play some League though. I gotta do that climb. Should corporal punishment be illegal? You mean like at school? I don't know. Probably. I just think people shouldn't do it. Whether or not stuff should be illegal is kind of iffy. What do I main? ADC. I play a lot of Jin right now, even though he's like not the best, but he's fun. White people using melanin injections. I don't know anything about that. Is that a thing? That's a really interesting. I don't know. What's my rank? I'm currently bronze 2, but I got to like silver 1 before. But I think this is my year because I like before I just kind of fucked around, but I'm like I want to take it seriously now. Uh, do I want any more tattoos? Yeah, I want a bunch of tattoos, but tattoos are expensive, and I can't really justify paying for them now. Although I spend a lot of money on dumb shit all the time, and I think I would be happier if I spent them on tattoos. So who knows? Yeah, my I'm gonna try to get gold at least, but I think I can probably get more than gold if I just put my mind to it. Because I'm starting to understand the game now. Like the game like before the game just felt really random, but now it really feels winnable to me now. Like I kind of get it now. So Google Martina Biggs. She turned her skin dark with injections. Oh my god. Oh, that I've seen a picture of this person. Yeah. I've the thing is I actually wrote down a budget a couple months ago and I've been more or less sticking to it, but the thing is in my budget I sort of put a certain amount aside for spending money just for just stuff that comes up, and I usually spend all of that on dumb shit. So that's what I need to fix. As crazy as it sounds, I think I'm gonna just play more video games. Because I honestly, if I spend my money on video games, I won't spend it on other dumb shit like fucking alcohol and random restaurants and all kind, and like fucking buying gems on Clash Royale and shit like that. Like, so I feel like if I actually buy games that like I actually use and get my money's worth, I'd feel better about it. Which is crazy because for some people, buying video games is the dumb shit they want to stop. But that's like the unique life of that I live. Yeah, Stefan Molyneux, I don't know about that guy. Have I ever been on a Steam spending spree? Oh yeah. Those summer sales are the death of me sometimes. Am I a libertarian? Hell nah. Libertarianism is really bizarre to me. Like, it's hard for me to believe that that's real. That it's hard for me to believe that people actually believe that stuff. I probably should just use my money to invest in myself and buy things that help me be more productive, like more equipment. And like I've been wanting to upgrade my computer for the longest, and I could have if I just saved this money, all the money that I spend like going out and eating like at restaurants and stuff. Raw water, it's a startup idea. Unfiltered, unmodified raw drinking water. What does that mean? The first game I binge played, the first one ever. The first game that I really, really got into and put a lot of hours in ever was probably The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. I played so much of that game, and it's still like maybe in my top 5 favorite games of all time. I see government doing too much dumb shit. Yeah, but private companies do way worse stuff. That's the part I don't get. Letting like just the free market do whatever it wants and letting corporations run wild is objectively a terrible idea, and we've seen what happens when things get deregulated. It's always bad. So yeah, the governments are bad and we need to reform governments. But the private companies are way worse. How YouTube's new policies affect you? Well, I haven't lost my YouTube partner status because I get enough watch time. But a lot of my videos get demonetized, and that's kind of sucks. But at this point, I don't really pay that much attention to ad revenue. Like it's almost not a thing, so I don't really care. Libertarianism is seen as left wing in the US. Is it? I don't know. I don't think that's true. Oh, so just literally dirty water? What the fuck? Interesting. But a lot of these terms, like, you know, I think there's more than one type of libertarianism, and usually in America when we talk about libertarianism, we're talking about conservative libertarianism, because as far as social issues go, Libertarians are usually spot on, in my opinion. Like, they're just all about leaving people alone and letting people, as long as you don't harm anyone else, you should be able to do whatever you want. And I agree with that. But where they lose me is when they talk about fiscal issues and economic issues and stuff like that. Do I watch Peter Coffin? Yeah, I'm a fan of Peter Coffin. His videos are actually like amazing. Like, I didn't realize how good they were at first. I don't, and he has like an insane like work ethic. I don't understand how he makes all those videos, because it, like, I feel like he just must be making videos nonstop, because his videos are really long and there's a lot of effort put into them, but he makes a lot of them. Yeah, but without regulation, even if you made your own company, you would be easily bullied by the larger companies, which happens now. You would not be able to survive because there would be no protection for your small business, because there would be no government regulation preventing large corporations from screwing you over in every way possible. And that happens now. Yeah, I don't know that much about the past, the drama. What is my sexual orientation? Heterosexual. Like, for example, Walmart put so many companies out of business because they were just unable to compete with Walmart. Because Walmart just straight gangstered everybody by selling stuff at super low prices that other people just literally couldn't compete with. So imagine trying to build a store to compete with Walmart. You're just going to lose every time. The only way you can prevent that is by making uh, government regulations that encourage fair competition. It's just like the libertarian idea, or at least the conservative libertarian idea, is just something that I feel like has been disproved by reality so many times. Every time the government is disallowed from regulating companies, they always fuck up every time. Almost every like super huge like disaster has been as a result of like deregulation. Could we be living in some sort of matrix? I guess we could. I think it's unlikely though. All right, I'm gonna stream about 10 more minutes, guys. Thank you for coming to the stream, of course. If you have like one last question or one last comment, this would be the time to do it. Philosophy Tube, another great YouTube channel. Favorite cereal? Probably Raisin Bran Crunch. I'm a huge Matrix fanboy though. I could talk about the Matrix all day. Have you gotten back into playing guitar at all? Unfortunately, no. My guitar is chilling right over there too. I haven't touched it in months. Yeah, that's another thing. Amazon is an interesting case study. This is part of it. Like it's not just the relationship between it's a relationship between big companies and smaller companies, but also a relationship between companies and consumers, but also a relationship between customers, I mean between companies and their employees. And Amazon is a really interesting case because they're like really amazing to their customers, but they're terrible to their workers. And again, this is all something that I believe the government has to step in to ensure doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with Amazon right now. Like they're just like Amazon might be the unlikely. We all thought it would be like Google. Well, I think we thought it was Microsoft that was going to take over the world and start a new world order. But then we're like, oh no, it's going to be Google or Apple. But maybe it's Amazon. Amazon's going to rise and just take over the world. I'm not sure how much they pay, but I know that they put a lot of pressure on their workers and they make them work like they force them to work like overtime, and they like put insane like um uh I don't know, they basically like require them to just to because they have such a desire to please their customers. They put insane pressure on their workers. And there's I don't remember the details, but there was like a controversy recently about them, making the workers work like 60 80 hours a week or something to meet their crazy demand. Any thoughts on veganism? I think it's fine. I don't I don't necessarily think that I need to be a vegan, but I don't oppose veganism or anything like that. Well, Amazon owns Whole Foods, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right? Yeah, they bought Whole Foods. So yeah, they're getting into the grocery store business. Yeah, drivers pissing in bottles while driving. Yeah. I do get the vegan question every stream, but it's fine. I don't mind answering the same questions over and over again. I can't expect everyone to have heard my answers. My favorite genre of music is probably hip hop, but I like a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of classic rock. When I'm driving my car and listen to the radio, I always listen to either if NPR. I listen to NPR most of the time, like the news and shit. But if it's off, like if it's late at night, I just listen to the classic rock station. Um, there's a level of voluntary work, but that's an oversimplification. Like that's sort of one of the that's one of the great like really frustrating arguments that people are like, "Was if you don't like your job, just get another job." It's like that's not how the world works. And people who say that, I just feel like either are being disingenuous or they just really just have no perspective about how it really is. Yeah, I have a benefit from the fact that I don't get like a shit ton of viewers. Like sometimes ContraPoints will have like 1,000 people watching her, which is cool. Like I'm glad that she's popular, but it's easier to participate in the conversation when there's not that many people in there. But I guess we'll get ready to go soon. Thanks for coming to the stream. If you didn't know, I stream every Sunday around 1-ish Central Time. Or at least I try to stream every Sunday. Sometimes it's Monday, sometimes it's Saturday, but usually it's Sunday. And sometimes it's like 3 p.m. Sometimes it's like 4 p.m., but usually it's around 1 p.m. Is your mental health and well-being personally affected by reading racist comments, messages? Yeah, absolutely. That's why I try not to do it. That's why I turned off my notifications on Twitter. Because just really just doesn't make me happy. I don't know. These are sort of like the basic libertarian talking points, and I think that they're all flawed and not based in reality, but we can talk about that next week if you want. When am I streaming on Twitch? I don't know. I may stream later, but I'm not sure if I will. But you can follow me on Twitch. If you don't, twitch.tv/the1janitor. I will be playing some League of Legends. If you'd like to ask me a more in-depth question, feel free to email me, hello@the1janitor.com. I appreciate all emails. That's probably the best way to get a actual like sincere, in-depth response from me on something. If you have a shorter question, you can ask on Ask.fm, ask.fm/the1janitor, or curiouscat.me/the1janitor, or Tumblr, theonejanitor.tumblr.com/ask. What happens when your channel gets too big to be conversational? I don't know. You just have to go with the flow and find other ways to engage your audience, but that's just how it goes, I guess. We'll see if I ever get there. I'm not sure if I will, but we'll see. Follow me on social media if you want to keep up with me. You can follow me on Twitter. I tweet a lot. But like I said, I've muted my notifications on Twitter, so Twitter's not a great place to contact me anymore. But like I said, you can email me, or you can send me a question on Tumblr or Ask.fm or something like that. If you'd like to check out my merch, check out theonejanitor.com/store. I have some t-shirts. You can check them out. We talked about cryptocurrency earlier. If any of you guys are like interested in getting into cryptocurrency, the place you usually want to start is Coinbase. You can buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum on Coinbase. You can use my affiliate link. Go to theonejanitor.com/Coinbase. What else I got? If you have a YouTube channel, consider downloading or using TubeBuddy. It's like a browser extension on Firefox and Chrome, and it just makes it a lot. It just really helps you like optimize your YouTube channel. I use it. You can get it at theonejanitor.com/2buddy. And finally, if you're going to be shopping on Amazon, we were talking about Amazon today. But if you're going to be shopping on Amazon, consider using my link, because they throw me a little cut if you buy something. You can just go to theonejanitor.com/Amazon, and it'll just redirect you to Amazon, but it'll be through my link, and it'll support the channel. And as always, if you want to support me in a long-term way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon, patreon.com/theonejanitor. Anyway, thank you guys for coming to the stream as always. I'll be back next week. What kind of cut do you get? It just depends on the product, but it's just a small percentage of however much money is spent. And I should have a video soon. So look out for that, I guess. And I guess that's it. Bye.